Are you ready to become a cybersecurity professional in just 4 months? At Soft Afric, we provide the perfect blend of theory and hands-on experience to prepare you for the job market even before you graduate. Our state-of-the-art virtual labs ensure you gain practical skills. Dedicated virtual machines are assigned to each student, giving you a personalized learning experience. With a 98% success rate, Soft Afric stands out. We don't just stop at training, we help you craft the perfect resume, ace your interviews, and support you even after you land the job. Why you'll love signing up with us. 1. Each learner gets a complimentary 1-year antivirus subscription for their computer. 2. Dedicated virtual machines are assigned to each student. 3. Students can access recorded classes to review each session as needed. 4. Test banks are available to prepare students for the exam. Our lectures are scheduled from Thursday to Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with 2-hour sessions that fit into your schedule. Join the ranks of successful cybersecurity professionals today. Enroll now at Soft Afric by emailing us at elearning@softafrique.net or calling 4089615150. Your future in cybersecurity starts here. Are you ready to become a cybersecurity professional in just 4 months? At Soft Afric, we provide the perfect blend of theory and hands-on experience to prepare you for the job market even before you graduate.
So I think
our state-of-the-art virtual labs ensure you gain practical skills. Dedicated virtual machines are assigned to each student, giving you a personalized learning experience.
You can actually catch up with what we're doing for today. So
with a 98% success rate, Soft Afric stands out. We don't just stop at training, we help you craft the perfect resume, ace your interviews, and support you even after you land the job.
And also protect our system.
Why you'll love signing
about cybersecurity and other threat-related attacks. So, as usual, last week was a discussion about mobile money fraud and how to protect yourselves against people taking your money away that you've saved on your mobile banks or your mobile money, don't put it that way. And today we are looking at probably what could have been ways that can make this happen. What are the ways that can actually make these things happen? It is true vulnerabilities, right? So let's actually not look at that right now, but let's move on to our first section, which is our video awareness training, where we watch a video, analyze the video, and when you are done watching the video, we will actually answer a few questions on the video, and then we will proceed to what we have for today. So I'll be your host, and please follow along as we make this interactive as possible. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So let's actually begin with our first session for today.
Users having personal data stolen. Social media attacks provide new opportunities for bad actors to target user accounts with increasingly sophisticated attacks.
Danny! Danny boy! Danny! Come out, wherever you are!
The CFO chases Danny down an office hallway.
Danny, I need to talk to you, Danny! Danny! Danny, I know you're in here!
Danny hides inside a cabinet.
Danny, I need a word with you. Danny! Danny, I need to talk to you. Danny?
What in the... Danny, I just need a word with you, Danny. What in the world are you doing?
Danny is found and snaps out of his nightmare.
Oh, hi, Jack.
What are you doing, hiding inside this cabinet?
I guess I was afraid.
Afraid of what? That I was going to hurt you or something?
Um, I guess so.
Uh, I guess my reputation precedes me. But that isn't to say we don't need to deal with what happened. After all, we have 400 employees who haven't received a paycheck. And the company has $1.4 million missing from our payroll account. That is a serious matter. So why don't you tell me what you know about what happened, which might help us recover the money? Well, I promise not to hurt you.
Okay. Um, I think it all started when our company announced our partnership with our new payroll company on our social media site.
I already spoke to our CISO, and she thinks the same thing. Which means it probably wasn't a good idea to put that kind of information out there to the public in the first place. The hackers must have used that information to create a fake social media profile acting as the CEO or some other official of the payroll company, which they then used to target you.
Oh, yeah. It was the CEO. I knew it seemed suspicious. And there's such easy ways I could have verified before trusting. Like doing a Google image search by dragging and dropping the profile picture to see if it returns the same picture attached to different names.
You know, you could have also done a web search to verify the name, organization, and title of the person making the request. Also, if you're unsure who the person is, ask them to provide further verification with a corporate email account that matches their represented organization.
I also could have checked the profile creation date, which some social media sites include. If the creation date is very recent, that's an indicator it could be fraudulent. I feel so stupid. I know this stuff, but let the hackers trick me into providing my username and password over social media chat anyway.
And from there, the bad actors logged into the company payroll and changed bank account information, resulting in our employees not getting paid.
So, now what?
Unfortunately, we're being forced to dip into our emergency fund to pay our employees. And our CISO's already working with authorities to hopefully recover our stolen funds and stop the bad actors who did this before.
In the mix. Ningio, Episode 802, Social Media Horror Show. Security topic, Social Media Security Hygiene. Starring Robert Davi as Jack. Twitter and WhatsApp were recently breached, resulting in more than 500 million users having personal data stolen. Social media attacks provide new opportunities for bad actors to target user accounts with increasingly sophisticated attacks.
Danny! Danny boy! Danny! Come out, wherever you are!
The CFO chases Danny down an office hallway.
Danny here!
Danny hides inside a cabinet.
Danny, I need a word with you. Danny. Danny, I need to talk to you. Danny.
What in the... Danny, I just need a word with you, Danny. What's doing?
Danny is found and snaps out of his nightmare.
Oh, hi, Jack.
What are you doing, hiding inside this cabinet?
Um, I guess, I guess I was afraid.
Afraid of what? That I was gonna hurt you or something?
Um, I guess so.
I guess my reputation precedes me. But that isn't to say we don't need to deal with what happened. After all, we have 400 employees who haven't received a paycheck. And the company has $1.4 million missing from our payroll account. That is a serious matter. So why don't you tell me what you know about what happened, which might help us recover the money. And I promise not to hurt you.
Okay. I think it all started when our company announced our partnership with our new payroll company on our social media site.
I already spoke to our CISO, and she thinks the same thing. Which means it probably wasn't a good idea to put that kind of information out there to the public in the first place. The hackers must have used that information to create a fake social media profile acting as the CEO or some other official of the payroll company, which they then used to target you.
Uh, yeah, it was the CEO. I knew it seemed suspicious. And there's such easy ways I could have verified before trusting. Like doing a Google image search by dragging and dropping the profile picture to see if it returns the same picture attached to different names.
You know, you could have also done a web search to verify the name, organization, and title of the person making the request. Also, if you're unsure who the person is, ask them to provide further verification with a corporate email account that matches their represented organization.
I also could have checked the profile creation date, which some social media sites include. If the creation date is very recent, that's an indicator it could be fraudulent. I feel so stupid. I know this stuff, but let the hackers trick me into providing my username and password over social media chat anyway.
And from there, the bad actors logged into the company payroll and changed bank account information, resulting in our employees not getting paid.
So, now what?
Unfortunately, we're being forced to dip into our emergency fund to pay our employees. And our CISO's already working with authorities to hopefully recover our stolen funds and stop the bad actors who did this before they could terrorize anyone else. Now, to show you I'm not as scary as my reputation purports, how about we grab lunch on me? After all work and no play.
Be cautious about information you or your organization puts on public or private social media. Bad actors can use this to gain your trust by knowing your interests and history. Scrutinize connection requests that would give access to your personal social media information. Do a Google image or web search. Ask for further verification, or check the profile creation date. If you haven't scrutinized your social media connections in the past, take some time to audit and remove those that might be suspicious. There could be a hacker lurking in the mix.
All right, so welcome back from this exciting video. I think it was 5 minutes long, so we played it twice, 10 minutes. And the last 10 minutes, I believe we have gotten to understand why our social media accounts are very, very important. And I always say this, we should limit what we post on our social media accounts, especially social media that your post might actually travel to a lot of places. We must limit what we put out there. Okay. And I always say that who we always seek to impress on social media, that every time we want to post whatever we are doing, what's happening with us, you see, these people are just strangers. You don't know who is lurking behind or who is actually waiting for a right opportunity to strike you based on your social media posts. Right. So now let's actually take the quiz and let's look at what the questions are and let's try and answer them for okay. Now we have 6 different questions. So I'll read the first question. Please provide me with the answer. Okay, you are there. Let me know that you got the video and provide me with the answer. So I'll read the questions as follows. The first question is a true or false statement. As long as you are using a private account, there is no need to be cautious about the information you or your organization posts on social media. True or false?
False.
False. Okay. Question number 2. When faced with a sensitive request in social media, you should A, do a Google image or web search. The second option says ask for further verification. The third option says scrutinize the profile of the person making the request. The last option says that all of the above.
All of the above.
All of the above. Okay. Now we are question number 3. That is also a true or false statement. Cyber criminals can use information posted on social media to target people within an organization. True or false?
That
True.
is true.
It is true. Okay. Now, question number 4. These are some indicators that a social media profile could be fraudulent, and we should actually select as many as possible. A recent profile creation date, little to no account activity, such as few recent posts or interactions with followers. The third option says the profile was recently verified. Other one says the account has no followers. And the last one says all of the above. How many should we select? Is it the first one? Little to no activity. Is it correct? The profile was recently verified. Is it also part of it?
Yeah.
Should I also select this? The account has no followers.
Yeah, it's all the above, all of them.
So if it's all of them, then let's neglect this and let's stick to that. Okay. Now, the last but one question is also a true or false statement. Fake social media profiles are uncommon, as most social media platforms remove these accounts automatically. True or false?
False.
It's a false statement. And then let's look at the last question, which is true or false. You should never provide credentials or other sensitive information over social media chats. True or false?
True.
True.
True. Let's complete the quiz. Let's see what we got. Okay. So the issue has to do with this. Incorrect. Right answer, a recent profile creation date, little to no activity, such as the account has no followers. It's supposed to be this, this, and this. And then the profile was recently verified. Actually, it's not part because people can be verified as because it's a short time. Once you go to social media and you become a star, they can actually verify you on Instagram or you reach certain followers. So I think this was the only thing that was out. But regardless, we get the idea that whatever you post on social media actually affects us, and we should be cautious of the things we post. That being said, we are looking at what we have for today. Okay, so what we have for today is we are talking about vulnerability management with Nexus. Right. Now, last week, as we were looking at the mobile money issues, we realized that most people who actually had incidents with their mobile money had to deal with, let's say, the Momo app. The Momo application was how these people might have exploited to withdraw money from them. It can also be an issue of social engineering, which actually, based on a lot of findings, MTN also believes that they also believe this is an instance of social engineering, right? But then vulnerabilities actually exist. Vulnerabilities are cracks, they are flaws in every particular system. In every network, there might be errors, there might be flaws. In every application, whether system application and operating softwares, there might be errors inside them. Now, let's actually just think about how many applications we have on our systems, right? So on our normal day-to-day activities, let's say with a Windows laptop, I have a lot of applications here. With the system applications, I have my calculator, I have my notepads, I have my Microsoft Store, Edge, all these things that come with the operating system are a lot of them, right? And then aside those things, plus the operating system as a software installed on my system, I also have registries. Registries also came with the same operating system. Files configurations also came with the same operating system. Now, I also have installed other applications on my laptop. So let's say if you are into designing, you have design applications. If you are into marketing, web development, video editing, you have all those applications plus other applications that helps you to watch movies, to download things, a lot of browsers, a lot of systems, a lot of virtual machines. Now, all these things have weaknesses one way or another. There might be a weakness, there might be a flaw in them. Now, open it up and think about in an industry setting where each worker has a laptop that the person uses inside the company. Now, imagine your one particular system. Now, imagine all those people. So let's say if you are in a company where, let's say, modern or maybe a startup company where let's say the employees are 20, you are still facing 20 different computers. And these 20 different computers might actually have different vulnerabilities on them. The vulnerabilities are the weaknesses. Now, with every particular system or with every particular thing, there is protocol or there is form of importance. It is actually something that happens inside our world or in our day-to-day activities that some things are more important than others, right? Or some people, quotes, are considered more important than others in our world we live today. So inside an organization, it can also be the same where even though there might be 20 different computers on your laptop, 20 different computers inside the organization, they have to prioritize some of them before others. If there is a problem with all the 20 computers, we have to fix some before others. So what will determine what we fix first or what we engage first deals with how important that particular asset is to your company. So inside, let's say, our company, the laptop or the system of, let's say, the manager or the boss might be considered critical. And if all laptops have gone off, we might still want to find, let's say, a different computer for, let's say, this person, the boss, because he manages everything before maybe the next person who is, let's say, in charge of our website, maybe before, you see, you have to strike that particular distinction, that particular criticality based on how important one laptop or one computer or one system is in terms of a business setting, right? Now, how, after you've actually done your scaling of systems or scaling of computers, how you find the vulnerabilities is actually one thing, because you can't go online and say, okay, what are vulnerabilities? How do I know I have vulnerabilities? Like, you can't keep on looking at feeds online. Yes, every particular software vendor, so Microsoft is Apple, all those top companies, Cisco, all those ones, they are mandated to release information about vulnerabilities. It is part of the rules and regulations they must follow. So every time they find out a new flaw in their system, they have to put it out there. They have to tell us or tell the world what these things are. And then if there are solutions, they have to add them up. So mostly every time there is an update, mostly security updates, mostly application updates, it deals with fixing one or two vulnerabilities out there. So That is why every time we are here, we talk about updating your mobile phones, updating your laptops. Make sure you have the latest versions of operating systems, the latest version of applications, right? Now, if you don't, we have applications out there that most of them are paid that will pick up these feed, that will pick up these flaws. And then they've created a system about it. And they've also added scanners on them. And with these scanners, they are able to scan computers, they are able to scan networks to see if these vulnerabilities that were published out there or the vulnerabilities that are known in the world, if these vulnerabilities exist on your computer, and if it exists on your computer, then you must work on it to make sure you fix these vulnerabilities. That is actually what vulnerability management is. So it is a constant cycle because each and every day there is new vulnerabilities that are actually coming up. In the month of April, like this, when there is something called Patch Tuesday, where every month, right, there is softwares or application vendors must actually, let's say, publish a lot of things every Tuesday, mostly once a month, sometimes to weekly. They produce or they publish vulnerabilities that they found and how they can fix them. So in the month of April alone, Microsoft actually published 121 vulnerabilities in the month of April, right? And some of them actually included a zero-day attack. A zero-day actually means that it is a type of vulnerability that is first discovered that was being exploited. Nobody knows. The vendor themselves didn't know, but the attackers were using it. It is one of its kind, the first of its kind. And these things was actually discovered, I think, in the month of April. Microsoft found one vulnerability that's a zero-day vulnerability that hackers were already exploiting, right? So Microsoft, after all these things, will just release updates, will release security patches and things. Right? Now, how do we find out our systems have vulnerabilities? We have to scan them, but we have to scan them with what? That is what vulnerability scanners are, or vulnerability management softwares. We have few ones of them that are in the system. So we have Palace as a vulnerability management tool. We have Nexus, the one that you'll be looking at an introduction today. And we also have Open VAS also as part of the vulnerability scanner application platform, right? All those things are there. And then we also have web application scanners or web application vulnerabilities that deals with systems or websites or web applications. So what we are looking at is mostly application vulnerability. So the apps, the software that we install on our system, but these tools can also find out vulnerabilities that are on the web sites. So if you have created a website, there might be vulnerabilities on that particular website alone. You get the whole idea. But we are looking at applications and its vulnerability. So to actually download Nexus, you have to just search Nexus download, or you have to go to tenable.com. Tenable is the vendor that actually releases Nexus. Right? Tenable is the vendor that actually release Nexus like this. So once you go there, you have to select which version that you wish to download, right? And they have using a Windows 10 system on my virtual machine. This is a virtual machine for practical sake. So this is a Windows 10 Nexus account. And then with Nexus, you have to pay for most of its things, but they have an essential version that will give you at least a few of that application. That is actually what you'll be using for the practicals today. So you can go ahead and download the Nexus version for your operating system. So this particular operating system is what? A Windows. So it has selected that for me automatically. So you can click on download. Now, the download of Nexus is not actually that difficult. It will give you an MSI file. After you download Nexus, you have to install Nexus on your computer system, right? Now, one thing about Nexus is that you have to create an account where they will send you a code, an activation key. So you have to create an account, and by creating an account, use an email, you type in what company you work with. You can actually type in anything there, and then they will send you this key inside your mail. So after you downloaded Nexus, let's say on your system and you are installing it, they will ask you for that particular code. So you will have to go and copy the code and come and put it in Nexus for Nexus to work. The reason why I'm not doing this whole process is it takes long. And after you've installed Nexus, Nexus will have to download plugins and other information online. So Nexus will download, let's say, will check a lot of websites or a lot of database that will pick all those vulnerabilities out there. This sometimes takes 1 hour or 45 minutes, depending on the speed of your internet and how fast your system is, right? So that's actually one thing. So the plugins will download. So if you are going to install Nexus, just put in your head that when it reaches a place where it says it is compiling plugins, please take your time or maybe grab a coffee or do something else. You can actually maybe go and come or start working on other projects. By the time you come back, you realize that Nexus is actually done, and then you can use that for scanning your system. Now, I have two different computers. So I'm assuming that I have two different computers on a system. One is a Kali Linux system, and one is a Windows system. And I have made sure that I have put both systems on the same network. Right? I've made sure that this Windows system and this particular Nexus system are on the same network so they can communicate with each other. Now let's actually see here and verify that. Let's bring our CMD and let's do IP config to see the IP address of this particular Windows machine. Now let's open the terminal. Let's open the terminal of this Kali and let's do if config to find out my IP address. So you realize that this is 192.168.100.5 and this is 192.168.100.4. So they are all on the same system, meaning that they share similar IP, but the different one changes at the end, right? So meaning that in an enterprise world, two computers, if they're on the same system, will share similar IP addresses like this. Okay, now let me just ping to see if it can communicate. So let's ping this system to see if communication is possible. So 192.168.100 and then 5. Let's do that. And let's see, yes, it is able to talk to this particular PC. Okay. Now let me actually also ping this Windows from the Kali and let's do another ping. And you realize that this is communicating with this, and this one is also communicating with it. So both of them are on the same network, right? It works. And I have Linus, so I have Nexus set up on my Kali line, and I'll be using the Nexus to scan vulnerabilities on my Windows 10 system, right? So I'll just log in and then, so this actually is the Windows, this actually is, let's say, the what you see when you actually go to Nexus. It is just like this. You have to scan the system. You have to scan the other particular system, or you have to scan other things on your network, right? With Nexus, you can if you don't know what other things are on your system, you can do a host discovery scan, right? So once you open Nessus, once everything is compiled, the plugins are done, you come here, and this will be the first thing you see, an empty place like this. So you just see scans, and you just see settings, scans and settings here, right? And the scans is actually something that we are interested in. Okay, so you can click new scan because you want to find out things, right? Now, new scan will bring you a lot of templates. So these are the plugins that Nessus will configure when you are running for the first time. So it takes a long time for you to do that. We have a lot of scans that you can do. You can do a host discovery scan. The host discovery scan will find out the number of assets on your network. If you don't know, you can just scan your network domain and it'll bring you the number of computers that is connected to your system. So let's say in an enterprise, you scan maybe one router, you realize that it will bring you the number of computers that are connected to that particular router, or you can even scan the company's entire network and you realize that, okay, inside your company, you have 35, 50 systems in your company, and then you can go ahead and do whatever that you want to do. That actually is what Nexus can do, but this is not actually something that we look at, because if I do a network scan, you'll be able to see all the other computers that are connected to my local, my small network that I've created for my virtual machine and also my actual computer. So now I am dealing with 3 different systems: a Windows 11 for my actual computer, a Windows 10 virtual machine, and a Kali Linux also virtual machine. So 3 different computers here. But we want to do a basic network scan to find out the vulnerabilities on my Windows 10. Right? So you click on basic network scan, and this is where it brings you. So the name is how you choose to name the scan. You can also create a folder here where you group scans under. So automatically, Nexus will actually provide you with 2 folders. It's like a more way to group your scans. You get it, but you can just decide to scan it whether or like that, or you can create your own folder that will group your scans for you. So you can actually name your scan and say, okay, I want to name this scan Windows 10, Windows 10 vulnerability scan. Vulnerability scan. Okay. Now you can just describe it, and then the folder that I was talking about, if you create a new folder, you can just arrange your scans under those folder. And now this is actually where it becomes important. What is the IP address of that particular system that you want to scan? So that IP address of my Windows is 192.168 and then 100 and then 4. This is where I put in my this particular one, and then I say, okay, that is fine. And we have other settings that you can also do with this. You can schedule a scan where, let's say that every particular Tuesday, you can say, I want you to scan this number of computers for me, or I want you to scan my Windows 10, because this is the Windows 10 that we are scanning. I want you to scan my Windows 10 every particular Tuesday. You can schedule that here, on or off. But with the free version, you only have one chance. You can schedule it once. You can schedule it multiple times. So with the paid version, you can see scan it Monday, scan it Tuesday, scan it Wednesday, scan it Thursday, or maybe scan it in 3 weeks, or you see, you can do as many things as possible. And then we have notifications. So if you set up your SMTP server, the SMTP server is the email system. So if you can set up the email system and add it to Nexus, whenever the scan is completed, Nexus will send you a message in your email that a scan has been completed. So please try and look at it. Okay. And then we also look at the discovery. With the discovery, what are you looking for? Right? Are you looking for everything on a system? Because we have a lot of ports on one particular system. I think there are more than 65,000 ports on one particular computer. So you can actually customize it, or you can say, look for the most common ones that is being used by this particular laptop. The common ones are, let's say, port 443 for HTTP, port 80, port 23, all those normal ports for email systems, for network connections, and all those things. But if you want to say, okay, I want to scan all ports, the Nexus will search for 65,000 ports, all the 65,000 ports under the under all the ports on your system, and it'll scan everything to find out what is happening there. That is for that. But then we will look at just common ports. We don't actually want to take much time. And then the reporting, if you, after this particular scan, do you want it to have a report? You can actually create a report. So let's say that you want to tell your other colleagues, or you want to tell your boss that when we scanned this system, we had these weaknesses on them. This is a report. So you have to just play along with it, but I won't actually select or do anything here. It is fine as it is. And then advanced also is here. Advanced actually is more to tell us the low scan bandwidth links and other things. So let's say the system that you want to scan, is it something that people are using? Because if people are using it and you want to scan, it might slow down the PC, or might slow down the computer network or the computer system. Maybe you don't want that. So you can actually say, I don't want you to scan it as much as possible. Like, send all your packets, like break it down into smaller parts. And I know it will take a long time, but because I don't want my system to be overwhelmed, you can just select this and then you'll be fine and you are good to go. So once you are done, then you can click on save, or you can launch it straight away. Right? You can click on save, or you can actually launch this particular thing straight away. Now, with this particular scans, we have two credential scan. What we are doing right now is a non-credential scan. The credential scan is you want the scanner to enter deeply into that Windows system to find out more information as it can give. Because with this one, you are just scanning it from the outside, trying to find as simple vulnerabilities as possible. But with the credential scan, you are scanning it deeply. And with the credential scan, one thing that you need is the Windows password. So let's say if you are scanning your Windows 10, like my Windows 10 like this, I have to provide Nexus with my credentials. That is the credential scan. So my password and my username should be provided to Nexus. So Nexus will log into my Windows 10 using the credentials I have provided here. And after logging in, it will do background checks, it will do better checks and find out more information as compared to the non-credential scan, right? So once you are here, you click on Windows, because it's the Windows system that I'm trying to scan. So you see, it's asking for username, it's asking for my password, and I'll provide in my password. But then if you are inside an organization structure, you can provide the domain, because all the systems will be on the same domain. It is easy for you to do that in a company environment. So you just provide the domain for that, and then you are good to go, depending on what particular system it uses. So in an enterprise environment, you can even use Kerberos. Kerberos is an authentication server. So if you have Kerberos set up on your system, you can just do that and you're good to go. But then there's no need for us to do authenticated scan. Now, this scan, once you launch it, it will take some time, maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes, depending on how you configure it. Right? So I don't want to do the scans. I've already scanned it, I think, some few hours ago before this session. So I'll actually provide you with what I saw, the two ones I did. I did the credential scan and I did a non-credential scan. So you see the difference between them, right? So let's go to my scans. You see here. So this is the Windows scan that I did, and then I scanned it twice. So twice. The first one was a non-credential scan. So look at here. Look at this place. You see, the first one was able to find out these number of vulnerabilities. And the blue actually is just information. With vulnerabilities, we have how dangerous they are. Some of them are dangerous than others. And it is rated with something called a CVSS, or a criticality score. So if you see very, very deep red, it means it is very, very critical. So high, medium, low in that order. And this is for the non-credential scan. With the non-credential scan, you realize that the 90, which is the information, was the highest among them. And I didn't even get any critical, or maybe only 5 critical, and then um, just a few high and things. That is for the non-credential scan. Let me zoom in so that you can actually see better. But for the credential scan like this, I was able to delve deep. The Nexus was able to log into my Windows 10 system there and was able to find out as many vulnerabilities as possible. So let me click on one of them. That is, you click on this and then you click more to actually view information. So you can actually configure this whole thing. Sorry, that's actually doing again. So like I said, after you are done with this particular thing, you can just create, and then you can also export this particular thing. You can export this information, right? You can also report this thing and send and download it in, let's say, in a PDF file, or in an HTML file, or in a CSV file. That means you are generating a report out of this particular thing that you scan. You can actually create a report out of it. And then once you do, let's say, okay, generate a report, it will do the reporting for you, and it will ask you to download the report. So let's say that your boss wants you to scan things on your system or on the computer network and provide them with a report. This is where you can actually do that. So because we found a lot of vulnerabilities, it will take some time to produce the report. And when the report is done, you see, it has opened it for me automatically, where it is giving me the vulnerability by host. So this is just an executive summary report. See, it will break down all the vulnerabilities on my system. So you can actually see that on that particular system, 192.168, 6 critical, 33 high, 7 medium, 2 low, and this is for information. And then they are rating them on which ones that are dangerous. You see, the vulnerability that are dangerous are here, and you have to fix them first. So let's say that inside your organization, you scan a computer system and you realize that this or these are their flaws, right? These are the flaws. Immediately, you make sure that you fix the critical ones first, right? You make sure that you actually fix the critical ones, but the critical ones are actually very, 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 very important, right? After you fix the critical ones, and then you can go ahead and do others. So here is where all the vulnerabilities are. So let me just click on one and it will bring me this. So one thing about Nexus is that once it takes the vulnerabilities, it groups them. So with, let's say, the critical, it will group them based on Windows. It will group them based on Windows bulletin. It will group them based on general, but it will group them based on Windows. So let's say if you have different computer systems or different accounts, So let's say if on a normal company infrastructure, I scan my Nexus, I scan my Windows, sorry, I scan my Kali, I scan my Windows, I scan my Ubuntu, all those things. And after I did scanning it, Nexus will group the vulnerabilities based on, let's say, Windows, the one that affects only Windows. It will group them the one that affects only Kali. It will group them the one that only affects Ubuntu. Ubuntu is for, like, let's say, most servers actually runs on Ubuntu. So if your server has vulnerabilities, it will group them based on that, you see, so that you can actually make meaning out of it. So here you see the Windows, and if you open one of them, it will give you information about the vulnerability here, few more information, and then it will give you what solution that if you want to fix this weakness, upgrade to the app version. So this vulnerability is associated with Microsoft 365 Office app, our Office app that we use mostly. This, okay, this is my Kali. This Office app, right? This one, this is the one that's actually associated with the Microsoft Office app, right? So this is that particular vulnerability, and it's saying that you have to fix it by installing the latest update. So with each vulnerability, you get to see what you can do to fix it, upgrade to this. So we can actually see all those things you can do to fix it, upgrade to the app version. This one deals with Microsoft Paint, the Microsoft Paint application that we have on my Windows. You see, so all these things are vulnerability that the Nexus was able to see for me. And Nexus actually have a way of grouping the remediations. See, the best thing you can do to fix as many vulnerabilities as possible. So if I install this particular update or this Windows patch, I'll be able to fix 16 vulnerabilities. If I am able to install this on my Windows system, I'll fix 9. If I do this, I'll fix 6. You see, so it is giving me a breakdown of how many weaknesses I can fix by installing these updates. You see, and then we can go ahead and fix them. So if in an enterprise you have, let's say, patching team, you send a report of everything that you found, you give it to the patching team, and the team who is responsible to fix those vulnerabilities will also do their job. So maybe your job is to find them and send it to them. And those who are in charge of, let's say, the vulnerability fixes or the patching will also do their job. That is why the reporting is also very, very important. This is an introduction to Nexus vulnerability management. You see, all these are the two types. The one is non-credential, and this is credential scan. See how it was able to give me more information about it. Any questions so far? Any
No,
questions? So
no, not for me.
we've just learned about vulnerability management with Nexus. This is just an introduction, how to just scan it. And the system is also easy to use as long as you know what to type in the IP address, you know what you are looking for, and you know what you do with those information. You get it? That is Nexus, and this will be the end of today's presentation. Next week, we will look at a different scanner or a different tool that we can also use to exploit or to find vulnerabilities on system. So please join us next week and let's see how best we can also learn that too. And I believe that we have learned a thing or two here, or now we can just go online and find and look for Nexus and see how best you can play around it. So if you have a PC there, you can just use it to scan your own PC to find out how many vulnerabilities are on them for you, so that you don't fall victim to these hacks and these scams where people are able to withdraw money from people's account using these vulnerabilities. Okay, so this is where we end, and we will see you guys next week, Wednesday, same time. And I'd like to say that I would like to thank you all for joining us on this particular journey. So every week, Wednesday, please visit us, come here, let's learn. If you want to share a thing or two, you are free to do that so that others will also learn from, and then we can keep our digital systems safe and sound. That will be all. Thank you guys. I'm looking forward to see you guys next week.
Are you
Thank
ready
you.
to become a
Thank you.
cybersecurity professional in just 4 months? At Soft Afric, we provide the perfect blend of theory and hands-on experience to prepare you for the job market even before you graduate. Our state-of-the-art virtual labs ensure you gain practical skills. Dedicated virtual machines are assigned to each student, giving you a personalized learning experience. With a 98% success rate, Soft Afric stands out. We don't just stop at training. We help you craft the perfect resume, ace your interviews, and support you even after you land the job. Why you'll love signing up with us. 1. Each learner gets a complimentary 1-year antivirus subscription for their computer. 2. Dedicated virtual machines are assigned to each student. 3. Students can access recorded classes to review each session as needed. 4. Test banks are available to prepare students for the exam. Our lectures are scheduled from Thursday to Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with 2-hour sessions that fit into your schedule. Join the